Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got another start and sit video to help you guys out with Week 12 of the NFL. Look, let's be honest, the playoffs are just around the corner. We want to help you guys get there and have some successful wins and get that streak going, so let's jump right into it. Week 12 of the NFL season is here, and we are talking quarterback start and sits, and of course some sleepers that may be able to help you out. Now, there are 4 teams on a bye this week. You got the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Commanders, and then of course the Chargers. So there's some decent quarterbacks that will not be playing this week, and now you've got to account for that. Plus injuries, like Michael Penix is obviously out. That's a pretty big one for some of you who have him, and of course there are some players that have not been playing really well. Now, these are your obvious starts at the quarterback position. These are guys that either have a great matchup or they are just absolutely matchup proof. No matter what happens, they have been successful, having a really good season. So these are guys that I completely trust. Now, the first quarterback I'm going to mention as a good start this week is Jacoby Brissett versus the Jaguars. May come of a shock to you guys, but Jacoby Brissett has been playing out of his mind. He has been fantastic. If you look at the trends, the last 4 weeks of how well he's been playing, Jacoby Brissett right now is currently quarterback 7. Right now, he has been fantastic. I mean, you look at the matchups, he's had 20 points, 19 points, 24 points, 19 points, 21 points. He's playing really clean ball. He's only thrown 3 interceptions in the 5 weeks that he's been able to start. And he's got a really good matchup this week going against the Jaguars, who have allowed the 4th most points recently to quarterbacks in fantasy. Now, they're allowing just under 240 passing yards. So not a lot, but they're allowing an average of 2 passing touchdowns per game. So the matchup is really good. I love this matchup for Jacoby Brissett. I mentioned him in my waiver wire video. If you guys haven't already, check it out. And he is someone that you need to be putting in your roster and, of course, starting. Now, the next quarterback is going to be Jalen Hurts versus the Cowboys. Now, you may say, Steve, that's kind of stupid. He should be an obvious start. And yeah, I get it. Jalen Hurts, obviously, in fantasy world has been great, right? He has been one of the better quarterbacks for the season. But if you look at the last 4 weeks, he's been quarterback 14. He has not played well the last few weeks. In week 7 and 8, he had 24 points per game. But then week 10 against Green Bay, 12 points. Last week against Detroit, only 14 points. He has yet to reach 200 passing yards since week 7. He has not been playing a lot of really good ball. Yeah, he's gotten some touchdowns here or there, but if you look at the last 2 weeks, he's only scored 2 touchdowns. So the matchups, for me, I get it. This is a Cowboy matchup that I think he should have some success. The Cowboys have struggled. They're actually only allowing the 5th most points, which has been an improvement. Let's be honest, the Cowboys have improved slightly. With the additions, we'll see how they play out, because obviously you can't judge it off of Monday night's game of how Dallas's defense really was and how they performed, because the Raiders are not a great team. This is a big test for Dallas, but it's also a big test for the Eagles. Their offense is struggling. So again, for me, I still feel confident in starting Jalen Hurts, but there's a little bit more hesitation, which is why I didn't put him in as the obvious. Now, the next quarterback is going to be Sam Darnold versus the Titans. Most of this has to do with the matchup. The Titans are struggling. They're allowing about 19 points per game, 240 passing yards, and just under 2 passing touchdowns per game. Because let's be honest, in the last 4 weeks, Sam Darnold has not played up to par at all. Sam Darnold has been quarterback 28. Yes, you heard me, 28. He had a 4-point performance in week 11, 10 in week 10, 4-point performance. Yes, he had a great game against the Commanders on week 9, and then week 7 was 8 points. So you total that up, not a great one. And right now, he's thrown at least an interception per game. He's coming off of 7 interceptions in the last 4 weeks, which is ridiculous. And yeah, he's able to get some yards. He's obviously got a great receiver in Jackson Smith-Njigba. We'll see how Rashid Shaheed kind of grows in that offense. He's still got Cooper Kupp. I like A.J. Barner as a tight end. He's got some weapons and opportunities. And so for me, the Titans are a team that, as far as matchups, Sam Darnold might be someone you want to put in there, especially if you're kind of fiending for a quarterback that you just don't have a lot of options. Maybe Jacoby Brissett got picked up because you got 4 teams on a bye that you got to deal with too. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And the last quarterback I want to start this week is to be Jordan Love versus the Vikings. The Vikings are allowing 19 points per game, 240 passing yards. Again, very similar stat line to the Titans. And realistically, Jordan Love can be up and down. Jordan Love, as of the last 4 weeks, has been quarterback 9. So you got to give him a little credit. He's had some good games, but he's had some bad games, right? He had a 28-point performance, then a 9-point performance, and then a 7-point performance. And then he's coming off a 17-point performance against the Giants, which, again, Giants aren't a great defense. The worst against the pass. So as far as this goes, this is a good matchup for him. I do think this is going to be a fun game to watch. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to keep it close enough, but I do think Jordan Love takes advantage of it against the Vikings, who are struggling, and I love him this week. Now, on the flip side, quarterbacks I'm going to sit this week. The first quarterback I'm going to sit is Baker Mayfield versus the Rams. Crazy as that sounds, the Rams have been fantastic against quarterbacks, only allowing 12 points the last few weeks. On top of that, only 240 passing yards, but only 1 touchdown. They've actually done a really good job. And then Baker Mayfield himself has struggled. Again, we're basing off the trend. In the last 4 weeks, he's quarterback 24 coming into this week. He has not played very well. He has been struggling. He had the 22-point performance in week 10, but then a 4-point, an 11-point. Yeah, he had a 16-point performance against Buffalo because he had to, but it was only because he got that rushing touchdown. If you take that away, he would have struggled. Another 10-point performance. He has not looked good. The connection between him and Igbuka is kind of struggling a little bit. I think defenses are actually just obviously targeting Igbuka because they don't really have a lot of other options outside of him. The run game's gotten better. Sean Tucker was amazing, and they obviously relied on that because that's what helped them keep themselves in the game. But right now, Baker Mayfield, that MVP chant right now is kind of simmering down a bit because he has not played really well. And again, the matchup's pretty tough, so I'm going to sit him this week. Another quarterback I'm going to sit this week is going to be Kirk Cousins versus the Saints. Now, you're probably not even going to start him. You're probably not even going to pick him up. But the reason I want to mention him is someone's probably thinking about it. Kirk Cousins obviously did not play well the little bit he's been in. And now that Michael Penix is out for the season, Kirk Cousins is the starter. And it's tempting. You're like, oh, against the Saints, that's not bad. But the Saints are actually pretty good against pass. They're only allowing 198 passing yards and only 12 fantasy points to the quarterback position. So, again, matchup is tough. You got Kirk Cousins, who doesn't have Drake London. Kyle Pitts has kind of been nowhere at this point. You got Darnell Mooney, who's been dropping the ball. He's been just doesn't look as smooth as he was last year or the year before. And then the whole defense absolutely going to try to stop Bijan. So the offense isn't scared anymore. The Falcons are in a bad position. So for me, I am staying far, far away from Kirk Cousins if I can. Another quarterback I'm going to say is going to be J.J. McCarthy. We get it. Packers defense has been pretty good. They're only holding quarterbacks to 13 fantasy points, 200 passing yards. And then on top of that, J.J. McCarthy has not played well. Right, he's quarterback 27. I know he's only played a few games since coming back from injury. He's played 3, but he has not played amazing. He's thrown in those 3 games 5 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. And realistically, he had that 248-yard game, but other than that, he can't crack 160 passing yards. He is struggling. J.J. McCarthy is not the answer as of right now, and that's even with a good coaching staff of where, you had Sam Darnold last year look amazing. Right? Kirk Cousins obviously looks great. Like, you could put a quarterback in there. Even Carson Wentz has done better than J.J. McCarthy. So at this point, for me, J.J. McCarthy, it should be on waivers, but you've got him. You're going to sit him this week. And the last quarterback I'm going to sit is going to be Daniel Jones versus the Chiefs. This is a big matchup, especially for the Chiefs, who are holding on, trying to fight into the playoffs. Now, in the last few weeks, Daniel Jones is quarterback 13. Obviously, through the season, he's done a really good job, but he has kind of faltered a little bit. And again, not as hot as he was when he first started. He still had some decent games, don't get me wrong, but the Chiefs matchup is actually going to be a tough one. Chiefs are pretty good against the pass, only allowing 211 passing yards, 14 fantasy points. So this is going to be a game where he's probably going to get you 12 to 14, which is going to be okay, but outside of that top 10 mark. So for me, if I have other options, I'm going to sit Daniel Jones. Now, as far as my sleepers go, I've got 2 quarterbacks I pretty much feel pretty confident as far as sleepers. You got Bryce Young versus the 49ers. Crazy as that sounds, Bryce Young is coming off one of his best performances he has ever had, and you got to give him credit for that. Bryce Young is a guy who has struggled a bit, but he looked pretty good out of the Falcons matchup. And then the 49ers are a team that is struggling. They're allowing in the last few weeks the third most fantasy points to the quarterback position, 289 passing yards, which is the league worst right now. So for me, this is a good matchup for Bryce Young to have another solid week. He's a nice little sleeper. And then the other sleeper is Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's going against the Lions. Lions are struggling as well against the pass. Now, they're not allowing a super large amount in the air, only 195 passing yards, but they're allowing a touchdown per game, about 18 fantasy points. Obviously, Jackson Dart can run, which is something that the Lions have struggled against. And then on top of that, Jackson Dart's just ability to make some big plays has been there all season long. And he's going to have to try to keep up with Detroit because I think Detroit's going to take it out on the Giants. Now, of course, Jackson Dart is still in the concussion protocol, but he is trending to play. So again, he is a quarterback I like as a nice little sleeper. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for week 11. If you guys have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out my other start and sit videos when they drop. Also, subscribe. Love the content. Hit that like button as well. And I'll check you guys out next time.